How firm a foundation, ye saints of the Lord, is laid for your faith in this excellent word. What more can he say than to you he has said? To you who for refuge to Jesus has fled.
Commandment in Scripture. In Deuteronomy it says, keep the commandments of the Lord, which is to obey what he says. He said, keep the statutes of the Lord. That's to fully embrace his value system. And then he says, keep the testimony.
Keep the statutes of the Lord, which is what, bro?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
The testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy.
The testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. That's in Revelation, and I've dealt with this actually recently as well. All right, so Bill Johnson as well does this a lot. All these teachers in the movement do this a lot. They take words and phrases out of Scripture, out of their context, and don't explain them in their context. So what he just said, for the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy, is the last phrase of Revelation 19, verse 10, as you see here. Then I fell down at his feet to worship him. But he said to me, you must not do that. I am a fellow servant with you and your brothers who hold the testimony of Jesus. Worship God, for the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. Who is he talking about here? Who is he falling down and worshiping? And the angel said to me, write this, blessed are those who are invited to the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he said to me, these are the true words of God. So this angel is communicating this message to John to write this down. Blessed are those, and he does. He writes it faithfully. And then John falls down at his feet to worship the angel. And the angel said to him, do not do that. I am a fellow servant with you and your brothers who are fellow apostles and servants of Christ to hold the testimony of Jesus. Worship God. Only worship God. And then he says, for the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. This is the angel saying this. What does this mean? What is the spirit of prophecy? So I turned really quickly to Matthew Henry. He's written thousands of pages on the New Testament, 2,400 and some odd to be exact. So here's what he says. He says, notice what honor he offered to the angel. He fell at his feet to worship him. This prostration was part of an external worship. It was a posture of proper adoration. But then the angel corrects him, how the angel refused it. And this was the same resentment. See thou do it not. Don't do that, right? Have a care that thou art doing a wrong thing. He gave a very good reason for his refusal. I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren which have the testimony of Jesus. So he says, don't do it because I'm your servant as well as you, as well as your brothers who hold the testimony of Jesus. Who are the brothers? The brothers are the apostles. The brothers are the brothers who are alive at that time, and some had already died and fallen asleep. I am a creature, thine equal in office, though not in nature. I, as an angel and messenger of God, have the testimony of Jesus, as well as you guys. You brothers, you have the testimony of Jesus. A charge to be a witness for him and to testify concerning him, and thou as an apostle. So John was an apostle. All the other apostles had the testimony of Jesus, along with the believers at the time, and we too. Having the spirit of prophecy, has the same testimony to give in, and therefore we are in this brethren and fellow servants. We are testifying to Jesus Christ. We are preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. He directs him to the true and only object of religious worship, namely God. Worship God and him alone. This fully condemns both the practice of the papists in worshiping the elements of bread and wine, and saints and angels, and the practice of those Socinians and Arians who do not believe that Christ is truly and by nature God, and yet pay him religious worship. And this shows what wretched fig leaves all their evasions and excuses are, which they offer in their own vindication. They stand hereby vindicated of idolatry by a messenger from heaven. All right, so basically he's saying what the passage says. You must not do that. I'm a fellow servant. You hold the testimony of Jesus. I hold the testimony of Jesus as an angel. And what's the testimony? The gospel of Jesus Christ. So the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. What is the spirit of prophecy? The gospel of Jesus Christ. You are holding to the testimony of Jesus Christ as an apostle would by preaching the gospel. So that's what the spirit of prophecy is. He's making it to be something that it is not. All right, so we continue. And that's what they do. The testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. They just take that phrase out and make it mean that you now are testifying to Jesus, and that's prophetic. No. And make it to mean that you testifying to your healing is a prophetic act. Nope, that's not what it is. All right.
At least 100 people waved their hands saying they were healed. It's important that we let people know what God has done. And to withhold that is really to rob God of glory, but also the people of God a chance to hear what God is declaring he wants to do again. Through the years, we've had so many people healed.
All right, so you're robbing God again. You can't rob God, I don't think. I think that's made up.
In a testimony time, literally just hearing the story, they hear and they think to themselves, well, if God did that for them, certainly he would do that for me. So we're going to sing this again. Now, I want to give you another chance, please. We need to hear from at least 3 or 4 of you of what Jesus has done in your body. Just come up here to my left down here in front, and we would just love to hear.
So that on Jesus has leaned for repose. I will not desert to its foes. That's all the world hell should endeavor to show.